Hello and welcome! In this episode we're gonna build a desktop app which solves the following problem. Given 3 points A, B, C with coordinates which form a triangle, the task is to determine whether another point D lies inside or outside of the triangle. How to approach this? Let's connect point D to the other apexes. Now we have 3 more triangles, ABD, BCD and ACD. If D is within the main triangle ABC, then sum of footprints of constructive triangles will be equal to the footprint of ABC. If not, the sum will be bigger. Having that in mind, how to get an area of the triangle with given apexes? From linear algebra we know that 2 vectors originating from the same point can be represented as a matrix, in our case 2 by 2 matrix. The matrix has a determinant which essentially represents an area of rectangle formed by those vectors. In our case, we need to cut the area in half to get the triangle footprint. Let's apply it to the original problem. We have a triangle with a given coordinate system. Let's shift the origin to point D and apply the principle described earlier. Here is the example of function which does the job and calculate a footprint of the ADB triangle. The final script will be linked in the video description. Run the script and have a look at its output. The initial set of coordinates is changed with respect to the new origin at point D, and area of each individual constructive triangle was calculated and summed as 3, which is equal to area of the main triangle ABC. Thus, it states that point D lies within the main triangle. Let's change coordinate of point D a little and see the result. The sum of constructive triangle areas is bigger than ABC area. The point lies outside of the triangle. The script works, but it's not convenient for users. People are used to common window interface and stay away from this kind of script-like applications. And here is how it looks. Now we let user to easily change any of the initial coordinates and press the button to run the script behind the scene. The output is the same as before. Have in mind that user input can be incorrect and you need to prevent program crash somehow. The main function looks like that. It retrieves value from entry boxes, converts it to integers and forms a set of coordinates. Then calls getTriangleArea function for each of constructive triangles and the main ABC triangle and update the result label. At the last step, it calls toPlot function to let the user see the graph. Try except statements helps to catch possible errors, so if error occurs, it updates the result label with a warning and remove the graph from the screen if it was there. The basic setup to run any tkinter application looks like this. Import the libraries, create a class which contains the program, initialize class variables, and set up the initial window with some graphical content. Then let tkinter run your app in its own main loop. There are 2 choices how to embed an element to the screen: pack and grid. With lots of elements it becomes difficult to control them by pack. I personally always use grid system for any size of apps. Notice self in function and as a prefix to variable names. It allows to reference the object from any place within the class. Feel free to fill the basic form up with your own content. Get your hands dirty. And here are some basic useful tricks which will help you to create a nice layout of elements in the screen. All the source code will be attached to the video. The app now looks good and works as intended, but is it possible to share it with your friends somehow? Sure, and this is the topic for the next video. Happy coding and see you!